This story is one that must be revisited. In this tale, we looked into a world that was slightly different than the one we know. One where Kakashi was more responsible over Naruto. One where Naruto and Sasuke were truer to their feelings. A story designed to capture the feeling of parenthood and the struggles of guardianship. Humans are prone to failure, and despite how often we do it, it sometimes seems to be the thing we fear most. You're not alone in this. Even I feel this way. On many occasions, in fact. A fear that you're not good enough, that you'll fail and hurt someone, hurt yourself. Pressures and the demands others place on us, or even that which we place on ourselves, consume us and makes life harder. But that's no excuse to give in. In the previous videos, Kakashi had to face his past and only managed to do so by facing Naruto's reality. And when their bond grew and they overcame the hatred of others, the hatred of self that echoed within their hearts, they found the strength not only to carry on, but to lift up Sasuke as well, who had been drowning in his trauma. This is a story dear to the hearts of every human. This is a story of the broken and their decision to heal, and the struggles they go through to make it happen. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Kakashi stood under the hot sun. The ultraviolet rays today were ultra-violent. Looking to his side, he saw the shade of a tree beside him. Feeling like he was about to have the most embarrassing sunburn shape on his face, he decided to step into it. Despite that, he watched as his team continued to clean up the garbage. They raced, they turned it into a game, and thankfully, this time, Sasuke had joined in. This brought a smile to Kakashi's face. Sasuke was doing it. He was healing. He had made that decision not to close off, and because of that, the wounds on his heart were at the very least being salved by the joy of friends. The more that Kakashi stood there, the more he began to feel like this was a family. He had family in these children, little brothers and a little sister. Looking at Sakura, he saw how joyous she was. There was no trauma in her story, and for that, he was glad. He didn't know if he could handle doing this again. If anything, her having a good life actually helped Kakashi out, as she was very attentive. She was surrounded by people who had trauma, and despite not having any herself, she was understanding. Sometimes they said that a person who's never experienced trauma should never say, "I understand," because they couldn't. And indeed, that was true. The worst thing you could do was trivialize someone's pain. But this didn't mean you couldn't try to understand. Sometimes the desire to understand was as good as understanding itself. An admission of ignorance to a face through regret was a word from the heart that told those around them that how they felt was valid, but that it did hurt that they couldn't help. That open heart, that desire to know and care, that was one of the most important parts of helping someone else out. Sakura had always said she wished to be a doctor when she grew up, and now Kakashi knew she would be a perfect one, because her care did not stop at the skin, but continued deep into her heart. She tried to salve all wounds, even the ones unseen and untouchable. And sometimes that's all anyone ever really needed. Just to know that someone cares enough to try. Cares enough to sit still and listen. Not always trying to solve it, but letting that person vent as long as they want it. Sakura had a heart that opened to all, and that was what made her great. And Naruto, where Sakura failed and couldn't help, Naruto could. The longer he thought about it, Kakashi began to question it. Did Hiruzen just assign us all to group therapy? If the old buzzard had, then maybe it displayed a hidden wisdom. Kakashi had always liked to think he was a wise man. It may not have been humble, no, but Kakashi always did think that he himself had wisdom. But whatever wisdom Kakashi possessed paled in comparison to Hiruzen. While Hiruzen might not have been a very effective Hokage, he was an effective man when it came to the matters of the heart. And for that reason, he could forgive his mistakes. This team had been together for a good few weeks, and as it stood, everything proceeding perfectly. After having attempted the bell test a second time, the team worked perfectly to the point Kakashi actually had to try to keep the bells away from them, and that said a lot about their potential. With this, Kakashi had a surprise for them. As the day came to a close and the group emptied their trash bags for the final time, Kakashi called them to him. "Listen up, team. I just wanted to tell you how impressed I am with your work. And because of how much you've grown, I've got a surprise for you." Each of the students seemed to be excited as to what Kakashi might say next, especially Naruto. "Tomorrow, we're going to be getting our first out-of-village mission. Naruto seemed to celebrate already, not even knowing what the mission was. "Tomorrow we're going to be guiding a man back to his village," Kakashi said. "Bandits are a possibility, which is why we've been hired to protect him." Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura understood, and so they all proceeded home. Naruto and Kakashi reached their now shared apartment. There they began to pack their bags. Naruto was so excited that he was packing everything he thought he might need. Clothes, toilet paper, rations, water, a gaming console, cash. He was writing a list of things on a piece of paper to ensure he had everything packed up and didn't forget anything. He was so excited that he even added the list itself to the list and folded it neatly before placing it in a bag. "All right, our first mission. I'm so excited," he said. Kakashi watched Naruto bouncing around. He truly was a rowdy young man. It was so common for young shinobi to become excited about going to perform a mission like this. It was better than the other option. In some cases, shinobi feared leaving the village for a mission, which was valid. Generally, those shinobi were pessimists who already believed they might not come back. This made Kakashi wonder if such a feeling was good for a shinobi, to be afraid of what could go wrong during every mission. Kakashi had seen successful shinobi who were like that, but it was hardly an easy life for them. He was just glad that Naruto was not like that, because he wasn't sure how to handle it other than trying to reassure him that it would be okay. The next day, they rose bright and early. After having a rather large breakfast, the two began to leave for the gate where they would meet up with the rest of their team and their charge. There, they saw a man. He had rather spiky hair, a bandana of some sort wrapped around his forehead, and a large scar on his chin. "You must be Mr. Kakashi Hatake. The third Hokage Hiruzen told me all about you. I'm very impressed. It's a pleasure to meet you," he said, extending his hand. Kakashi took it and shook it. "The pleasure is mine," he said. Looking back, he spoke. "This is my young charge, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this man's name is Kaiza. He's from the Land of Waves. He was here on a very important business trip for his father-in-law to gather supplies to repair the bridge in his village. He requested our assistance to protect him as he heads back home." Naruto shook the man's hand. "I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Kaiza." The man shook Naruto's hand. "Such a well-mannered young man. Your teacher must be proud." "I am indeed," Kakashi said. At about that time, Sakura showed up, and Kakashi introduced her to the object of their mission. As they stood there, Kakashi looked around. "Where's Sasuke?" he asked. Waiting a bit longer, he pulled out his phone. I hope he didn't forget. But just as he started to dial Sasuke's number, Naruto tugged on Kakashi's sleeve. "There he is!" Sasuke was walking down the road toward them. Upon getting to them, Kakashi spoke. "You know, it's quite rude to make our client wait," he said. Sasuke looked like 40 miles a bad road. "You okay?" Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded. "I just didn't sleep well last night." Kakashi nodded. "Sorry to hear that." As he looked at the boy, he began to think. Did he really relapse? He seemed so happy yesterday. "Are you fit to go on this mission?" Kakashi asked. "If not, there's no shame. It's best to speak up now before we go, else you might slow us down if you can't." "I'm fine to go. There's no need to worry," Sasuke said. Kakashi decided to trust his student and hoped that he knew his limits. "Then let's go." The trio began to guide Kaiza back to his home village. For a time they walked, stopping off only to sleep. There, Kakashi kept his guard. He watched his students rest and saw that they were all sleeping well, even Sasuke. Maybe it was just a set of nightmares he had last night. That's probably it, he thought. But as the morning came, Kakashi began waking the group up. Sasuke was a bit harder to wake. He managed to get him up, but somehow Sasuke seemed even worse for wear than before. It was almost as if he wasn't sleeping at all. Something wasn't right, and Kakashi's sixth sense was tingling about it, but he didn't press it. So far, there hadn't been any issues. Likely, if there were any bandits, simply seeing 4 shinobi was enough to keep them away. Whatever it was, they would likely be at the Land of Waves by the end of the day, and there they could probably rest. Then was simply the return trip, and they could all take a week off if need be. Regardless, they began to move. "There it is, the Land of Waves," Kaiza said. The village had really grown since the formation of this bridge. There had been a time when organized crime ruled this town, but with Kaiza's help, they had overthrown that corruption, and had led to Kaiza being installed as a leading member of the village council. Since then, they had been so profitable in their work that the village had grown to become quite a bit more extravagant. It was beautiful, all things considered, and Kakashi thought it might do them good to stay in the village for a day to enjoy all it had to offer. Looking back at his team, he spoke. "What do you guys say we go out on the town tonight? Maybe I can even spring to get you 3 each a souvenir." Naruto and Sakura seemed to react to Kakashi's words with excitement, but Sasuke was silent. "Sasuke, what about you?" Kakashi asked, trying to get his attention. Sasuke ran his hand through his hair for a moment and then stopped. He displayed a grimace. Kakashi caught sight of it. "Sasuke?" The whole group looked back at him. "Are you okay?" Kakashi asked. It hurts," Sasuke said. At that point, he fell to his knees and collapsed. "Sasuke!" Kakashi shouted. The entire team was mortified, Kaiza included, who was one of the first to Sasuke's side. Checking him over, Kaiza spoke. "He has a fever." Kakashi was confused. Had Sasuke been sick this whole time? Kakashi walked over and picked Sasuke up. "We need a place to rest," he said. "You can stay at my house tonight. We'll call a doctor for him." "Thank you. This means a lot to me," he told Kaiza. With a hint of worry still in his eyes, Kaiza offered a smile. "It's okay. It's the least I can do." Leading them to his house, he stepped in. At about this time, Tsunami, the wife of Kaiza, was making her way over with concern on her face. "Oh dear, poor thing looks very sick. What happened?" she asked. "Not sure. He may have been fighting a fever for a while. He just collapsed. We needed to get him somewhere safe, quickly. I hope you don't mind, my love," he said. "It's okay. I want to do whatever I can to help him." "Would you mind calling Dr. Nisuke?" Tsunami nodded as she went for the phone. Kakashi brought Sasuke to the guest room where he laid him out on the bed. "Is he gonna be all right?" Inari asked. Kakashi looked over. "I'm sure he will be. Now go run off. I don't know if he's contagious and I don't want you getting sick too." Inari nodded and left. After some time passed, the doctor came over to check up on Sasuke. Looking him over, he knew it was a form of infection, but he couldn't place it. "I can run more tests on him, but it'll take more time." "How much time?" Kakashi asked. "Probably about a week or so. Things work slowly in this village, despite the look of fortune. I don't know if we can stay that long." The doctor seemed to nod. "I can prescribe some antibiotics. That should help him deal with some of the symptoms. But when you get back to your village, I highly recommend getting some blood work done to ensure he's still okay." Kakashi nodded. After the doctor left, Kakashi sat down by Sasuke. Sasuke looked up at Kakashi weakly. "I'm sorry, master," he said. "Why did you hide this? You could have died." Sasuke shook his head. "I wanted to come too. I didn't want to disappoint you. I know it was dangerous, but I didn't want to be left behind." Kakashi had a hard time being upset at Sasuke. After all, it seemed as though Sasuke also seemed to view his team as a family now, which was good. After so much suffering, he finally had decided to give them a chance, and had opened his heart to them. "It's okay, just try to rest. We'll be heading back to Konoha soon, and you'll go to the doctor for a checkup, okay?" Leaving the room so Sasuke could sleep, he was met by Naruto, who was standing outside of the door. "Is everything alright?" Naruto asked with concern on his face. Kakashi smiled. "Sasuke is okay. He just caught the flu or something. He'll be back up again in a couple days." The next day, they prepared to leave the village. Naruto volunteered to carry Kakashi's bag, while Sakura volunteered to carry Sasuke's. The reason that they did this was because Kakashi was going to carry Sasuke piggyback style all the way to Konoha. "Try to rest, Sasuke. We'll be back at Konoha likely by tomorrow afternoon." Sasuke nodded slowly. He rested as they walked. Nobody said anything, but everyone was nervous for Sasuke. He seemed sick, bad, and nobody knew why. They walked all through the day, taking time to stop every so often to cool off Sasuke's fever and give him his next dose of antibiotics. They kept going, taking time to sleep as well. Eventually, making it back to Konoha, Kakashi discharged his team and let them go their own separate way. Carrying Sasuke to the doctor's office, they proceeded to check him over, but their conclusions were the same as Dr. Nisuke's. They did not know why he was sick and decided to take some blood, which Sasuke very much did not like. But being the trooper he was, he didn't fight back, nor did he make any sounds. He simply looked away. They said that they'd likely be able to have an answer back in a couple days, and told Sasuke to simply stay on his meds the way that he'd been told by the previous doctor, and to get lots of bed rest. And so, Kakashi took Sasuke back to the boy's apartment to rest. There, he lay him down. "Are you going to be okay on your own?" Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded. "I think after a nap I can probably get up and get something to eat. Would you like me to prepare some meals that are easy to put together?" Sasuke nodded. And so Kakashi began to cook up a couple cans of soup. Soups were the best food for when you were sick, especially if they had chicken in them. Once he had finished, he looked back. "I have it in the fridge. Just hit it with the microwave when you're ready to eat, okay?" Sasuke nodded. Kakashi turned off the light. "I'll be by to check on you tomorrow." And with that, Kakashi left. Walking out, he couldn't help but worry for Sasuke. It was unusual how sick he really had gotten. Whatever illness he contracted, it was completely wiping him out. He stopped by the Hokage's office to talk with Hiruzen. There, he reported that the mission was successful, much to Hiruzen's joy. However, as the Kage sat there, he sensed that Kakashi was troubled. "Are you okay?" he asked him. Kakashi nodded. "Yeah, I'm just worried." "Why?" Hiruzen asked. "Well, when we went out on mission, Sasuke wasn't himself. By the time we got to the Land of Waves, he collapsed from exhaustion. We called a doctor and they said he was fighting some sort of infection. I brought him back here to be tested, but they don't know what's wrong yet." "I see," Hiruzen said. "I can't help but feel worried. Even though I know it's probably just a bad case of the flu, I can't take my mind off of him. I doubt I'm going to be able to sleep tonight." Hiruzen began to smile again. Kakashi looked up questioningly. Hiruzen then spoke. "You don't yet understand just how proud of you I am." "What do you mean?" Kakashi asked. Hiruzen spoke. "You've more than become a mentor to these children. You've turned them into a real family. You care for Sasuke like a father does, and the way you've cared for Naruto, you basically raised him. You're everything Minato could have dreamed for." Kakashi questioned. Hiruzen nodded. "When Minato passed away, it was his wish that Naruto be taken care of and respected by the village. Sadly, I failed to provide half of that wish. However, I could not have made a better choice to care for his son than his own student. You may be shaped into a weapon by this village under my command, but your heart is as true and as golden as it ever has been. I could be no more proud of you than I am." Kakashi sighed and smiled. "Thank you, Lord Third. That means a lot to me." After their meeting, Kakashi returned home to spend some time with Naruto. Sasuke, on the other hand, was still in his home asleep. He had some kooky dreams. Fever dreams were the best description because that's what they were, but by 8 p.m. he woke up. He was starting to feel even worse and he didn't know why. His head was aching. It felt like his brain was boiling in his skull. "Maybe I just need something to eat," he said. He heated up some soup and ate it at the bar. After that, he began to feel a little energy return, so he decided to take a quick shower to wash the stench of outside off of him. Brushing his teeth, he went to rinse, but as he did so, he was overcome with a sudden pain. Gah! He let out a cry as he reached for his head. He almost fell to his knees. He took a moment to breathe, but suddenly the pain returned in full force. Falling back, Sasuke gripped at his skull, crying out in agony. It was as though his brain was trying to crawl out of his head, like his eyes were about to explode, like his eardrums were about to rip apart and spill out the contents of his head onto the floor. The pain was so great that he actually began to cry. Eventually, the pain subsided though. Hardly able to think straight, he began to rise to his feet again. Peering into the mirror, he noticed something. His eyes were different. They were Rinnegan. Sasuke drew closer to the mirror to examine them. "How?" he questioned as he looked at them. It was at about this time that he noticed a shadow outside of his window. The sound of broken glass echoed through the apartment. Kakashi laid there on the pull-out couch, looking up at the ceiling. Turning to look at the clock, it said 3 a.m. Normally, he was long gone by now, dead to the world. Naruto currently was, but Kakashi was wide awake. He couldn't stop thinking about Sasuke, wondering if he had eaten anything since he left, wondering if he were even still alive. Perhaps his mind was just rushing due to the attachment he'd developed for the boy, but all the same, he couldn't help but worry. A part of him wished he were staying with him tonight, if only to make sure he was okay. Kakashi rose from his bed and rubbed his face. Looking around at the dark of night, he knew he would not be able to sleep, so he climbed out of bed, grabbed his gear, and prepared to leave the apartment. He stopped for a moment to look in at Naruto, who was sound asleep. Kakashi would grab his keys and head toward the door. Unlocking it, he stepped out quietly before turning around and locking it again. As he walked outside, he saw rain. The skies had opened up, and now it was raining. The flashing of lights and the sound of thunder tearing across the sky. This was the perfect weather for sleeping, but not tonight. One might say he was getting too attached to his apprentices, but he couldn't help it. With everything they'd been through, he couldn't not care. Foregoing the umbrella, Kakashi simply walked through the rain towards Sasuke's house. Upon getting there, he pulled out the keys. Sliding them into the door, he twisted the keys until he heard the latch click. Opening the door up, he stepped into darkness. Closing the door behind him, he could see Sasuke's bed from here. It was empty. Looking into the dark bathroom for a moment, he didn't see anyone in there. Walking into the living room, he called out, "Sasuke?" There was no answer. He walked a little deeper. It was then that he saw the busted window. Walking to it, he began to panic. Stepping out into it, he called out, "Sasuke!" From behind him, a black shadow with red, piercing eyes appeared. "It's no use," a dark voice spoke. "He's not here." Kakashi looked back and saw it. In a moment, he was on the figure, throwing him against the wall. The figure struggled and managed to push Kakashi back. Kakashi attempted to get to the figure again, but the figure grabbed the bedside lamp and attempted to smash it against Kakashi's skull. Kakashi raised an arm quickly enough to catch it. Striking at the figure again, he felt his knuckles hit teeth, causing the head of whoever was there to smash against the wall. Soon after, Kakashi hit him with a right hook, putting the intruder on the floor. Stepping over him, he went to the light switch and flipped it. As soon as he did so, he saw a man laying there, trying to shake off the strikes and wiping the blood from his lip with his black and crimson cloak. "Itachi!" Kakashi said. Lifting him up by the collar, he threw Itachi onto the bed and prepared to choke him out. "What did you do with Sasuke?" he demanded. Obviously tired of this, Itachi gripped Kakashi's wrist and wrapped his legs around it in a fashion that reminded Kakashi of Sasuke. He then rolled Kakashi off of him and assumed control of the situation. "Enough," Itachi said. "I came to figure out where he was too." "Afraid that someone's gonna steal what's yours?" Kakashi demanded, his tone spitting bile and judgment upon the murderer. "Perhaps," Itachi said. "Regardless of my motives, my brother's missing, and I'm searching for him as well." Kakashi seemed to slowly stop resisting, causing Itachi to ease up, letting Kakashi sit. "So you're searching for Sasuke too," Kakashi said. Itachi nodded. "My brother has gone missing, and that disturbs me. If you didn't take him, then who did?" Kakashi asked. "I can't be certain. I have my suspicions, but I don't know for sure. I've sent my crows out to ascertain the truth, but they've yet to return." "You have suspects?" Kakashi asked. Itachi nodded. "A few, but I won't know for sure until my crows return." Kakashi sat up. "I don't know what your game is, but I won't let you hurt Sasuke under any circumstances." Itachi simply said nothing. Standing, he walked to the window. "How has Sasuke been?" he asked. "Like you care at all. He's been a wreck ever since what you did to him that night, what you did to your clan." "Has he become a good shinobi?" Itachi asked. "He's barely able to become a shinobi at all. He's been struggling with the baggage you put on him. I don't know what your ploy was that night, to awaken the Mangekyo or something. All you succeeded in doing was ruining his life. I can never forgive you for that." Itachi looked over his shoulder for a moment. "What makes you think I want your forgiveness?" Itachi asked. "I guess remorse is something too hard to expect from a reprobate like yourself." Itachi remained silent. It was then that a crow returned. Itachi took it and looked into its eyes with his Sharingan. "It's Sasuke. He's not too far from here." Kakashi rose from the bed. Itachi looked back. "Can you swallow your rage long enough for one last mission together? Just long enough to rescue Sasuke. After that, your goose is cooked." Together, the two rushed out into the rain again. Itachi led Kakashi to a location beyond the trees, beyond Hokage Rock. Together, they slipped into the darkness, entering what seemed to be an abandoned military site that wasn't so abandoned. "This is an old root base. You know about it?" Itachi asked. Kakashi nodded. "I spent a little time en route. That was until the head of it asked me to assassinate the Hokage. After that, the group was shut down." "You would like to think so." "No, it's still going, just behind the scenes." Together, they snuck deeper, moving past the guards. The deeper they went, the more narrow the pathways. By that time, the two root agents guarding this particular door had no way of knowing what was coming next. Within a moment, Kakashi and Itachi appeared behind them and put them to sleep. Opening the door, they stepped in and saw Sasuke chained to the walls, barely off the floor by his knees, dangling by his arms. He was not in good shape. "Sasuke," Kakashi said as he rushed to Sasuke's side. Pulling his chin up, he could tell something was wrong. "Are you okay?" "Master, my eyes, it's so dark." Kakashi could see that Sasuke's eyes were gone. "What happened to you?" Kakashi asked. "My sickness. It was caused from the awakening of the Rinnegan." "The Rinnegan?" Kakashi questioned. "How is that possible?" It was then that another voice spoke. "It was possible because I made it so." Danzo Shimura stepped in, flanked by a few guards. "Well, what do we have here? 2 traitors to the leaf?" "What did you do to Sasuke?" Kakashi demanded. "I did what was required. You see, we came to realize something not long ago. Well after the Uchiha were massacred, we came into contact with the Uchiha Stone Tablet, a hidden monument that they did not want us to see. It said that it was possible to create the Rinnegan by mixing the power of the Sage of Six Paths' reincarnated sons together. Through our studies, we managed to identify at least one pair, Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. Thanks to our cutting-edge science, we managed to detail what their chakra signatures were. Hashirama was easy, but Madara, not so much. However, thanks to some experiments that Lord Second did after Madara's passing, we managed to get a sample of his DNA. With it, we cracked the entire sequence. Since then, we've been searching through DNA and chakra samples for those who could match our databases. And wouldn't you know, Sasuke Uchiha, the last Uchiha, just so happened to ping. And so, mixed into his vaccinations, we included Hashirama Senju's cells. And as it appears, our efforts to create the last possible Rinnegan since the extinguishing of the Uchiha clan have been a success. As a treasure of the leaf, they have been reclaimed for future generations. A tool to ensure Konoha remains the strongest village in the world. Kakashi was appalled. I knew you were a total basket case, but I didn't know you were this bad, Kakashi said. You would be surprised, Itachi said. Who said that? Sasuke asked. Itachi looked at Kakashi and shook his head. They continued to focus on Danzo and his agents. Danzo smiled. Now we're finished with him. Finished with all of you. But before you go, we'll need you to serve Konoha one final time. Word cannot spread of what we're doing here, and so, you two must be destroyed. Danzo pressed his hand forward. Kill them. From there, the best agents the Anbu had, a professional kill squad, moved to attack them. Kakashi, readying himself for the worst, lifted his sash off of his Sharingan and pulled the kunai out. Itachi pulled out a katana and stepped forward. In this moment, Kakashi returned to his old self, remembering the monster he used to be. Looking back, he was glad that Sasuke could not see right now, as what he was about to do was going to be terrifying. Kakashi dodged into an attack and dragged his kunai across his opponent's throat. As the second one came in, he used Kamui to literally teleport his head clean off. Your special assassination squad's disappointing, Kakashi said as he continued. I guess they're only good for killing you if your back is turned. All the while, Itachi stood there, no stance, no anything. He had simply set his blade afire with Amaterasu. With each attack that connected to the enemy, they were set up in a blaze of fire. The others nearby, he began casting Tsukiyomi on to force them to relive their worst fears, over and over again on loop. They screamed and fell to the ground, their minds shattered under their own weight. Suddenly, Itachi's Susanoo appeared and skewered many of the shinobi with the blade of Totsuka. All those pierced were drawn in. The remaining members of the assassination squad were quickly polished off. Danzo turned to run. Itachi looked back at Kakashi. Free Sasuke and get him out. I'll meet up with you soon. Kakashi nodded and cut Sasuke free. Putting him upon his shoulders, he began to carry him out. Itachi went the other direction, chasing after Danzo. There was something burning in his eyes, and it wasn't Amaterasu. You betrayed our deal, he said. Now come back here and pay the piper. Kakashi watched as Itachi chased him, electing to go the other direction, back toward the entrance. During this time, he ran into many root agents, each one coming to attack Kakashi. Carrying Sasuke, he could hardly do anything about it, so he only had one option. He began to spam Kamui. The agents screamed as limbs and entire parts of their body were torn off by the ocular space-time jutsu. Anyone Kakashi looked at almost seemed to implode upon themselves. Kakashi had never truly realized how terrifying this technique was until he was using it. Reaching the ladder, he told Sasuke to hold on tight. He began to climb. Once he was outside, he found a place to hide. The rain still fell, but they were safe from it. Looking Sasuke over, Kakashi spoke. Are you all right? Sasuke was silent for a moment. Sasuke, Kakashi asked. That was Itachi in there, wasn't it? Kakashi didn't want to answer. A few moments passed. Kakashi finally acknowledged it. Yes. Sasuke began to shiver, but not from the cold. Is he gonna kill me? Kakashi shook his head. I wouldn't let him. Is he here to steal my eyes? I don't know, Kakashi said. Regardless of what he's here for, I won't let him hurt you, okay? Promise? Kakashi nodded. Cross my heart. They waited there for quite some time. Suddenly, the hatch opened. Kakashi got into a defensive stance. Out of it came Itachi, however. Despite this, Kakashi's defensive stance did not change. Standing there on the hill above Kakashi, Itachi held out his hand. Within them were two Rinnegan eyes. Kakashi was confused. Itachi pushed forward. Take them. Kakashi stepped forward. Why? Why don't you take them for yourself? Itachi was silent for a moment. Because they don't belong to me. Itachi? Sasuke called out. Itachi looked over to his brother. He turned away for a moment and prepared to leave, his mission accomplished. But Sasuke then spoke again. Please, Itachi, wait. Itachi turned back and looked at him. Yes? Why did you do this? He asked. Why did you rescue me? Why did you spare me? Even with these Rinnegan, am I still not worth killing? Itachi took a deep breath and let it out as a sigh. Looking back at the hatch, knowing that man would never bother them again, he spoke. "I never did want to kill you to begin with." Itachi began to explain everything to Sasuke. "That man, he forced my hand. He said it would happen anyway, and if I wasn't the one to do it, he'd kill you as well. The only way I could save you was by doing what he commanded." Tears ran down his cheeks. Why did nobody say anything? There was nothing they could say, not without incurring the wrath of the village, not without starting a civil war. I knew these things, so I specifically asked to keep them secret, and in return I would help the village from outside. Sasuke couldn't believe it. Was this Hiruzen's fault? Itachi shook his head. No, Danzo moved against Hiruzen's wishes, and then was retired and put under house arrest. Despite that, it didn't seem to stop him. Hiruzen should have executed him, Sasuke said. Itachi nodded. Perhaps, but Hiruzen has always been lenient. He seeks to preserve life. He's an odd case of a pacifist holding the office of a warrior. In a way, I guess he's like I was. But in the end, Hiruzen did what he could, and so did I. Sasuke held his head in his hands. He wasn't sure what to think of it, what to do. Itachi knelt down. Sasuke, I know what I've done to you. I can never ask anything of you, but I want to say sometimes we have to bear a heavy burden, even if we don't want to. Mine was what I did, and yours must be letting go of the hatred that it instills in you. Konoha is a village with flaws, but it's still a good village, and it can only get better with the right leadership. It needs you, Sasuke. So if there's only one thing I can ever ask of you, let it be this. Let go of your pain, and remember your blessings. This is the village where your friends live, where Kakashi lives. The current generation will not last forever, so just let go. I killed the men responsible for our clan's destruction. Let it go. Itachi then stood. Looking back at Kakashi, he spoke. Take care of him. Kakashi nodded, and with that, Itachi was gone. A couple days later, Naruto and Sakura were allowed to visit Sasuke in the hospital. Bringing flowers and chocolates and all the other cliché things that you'd expect from children, they entered the room. Sasuke? They asked. He didn't respond. He's had a hard few days, Kakashi said. He's deep in thought. It might be best to leave him be. Naruto looked at Kakashi and then back to Sasuke. Walking over, he put the box of chocolate on the bed. I know what it's like to be confused, Sasuke, to feel anger welling up in you. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. And in that moment, Sasuke turned to look at Naruto, his ringed lavender eyes filled with kindness and joy. Thank you, Naruto. Naruto smiled, as did Kakashi. And as Kakashi watched on, he got the sense that everything was going to be okay. There was a light in Sasuke's eyes that had not been there in quite some time, and that light was hope. Their little family would recover and walk out of this stronger than ever. Of that, Kakashi had no doubt. And that's where I'm going to tack on a fin. This story needed to reach a good conclusion, and I feel as though it has. The battles that are the hardest to fight are the ones inside of us that nobody can see, and on some occasions, through anger or pride, all we can do is make such battles harder for others. This is why empathy is so important. You never know what someone is going through. You never really know the whole story until someone tells it to you, and when they do, it could change your entire stance on a situation. I guess Sasuke experienced that today. But what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this drop. And here's some other videos I think you might enjoy in the meantime. Anyway, until next time, peace out.